Hi, good morning, everyone. Before we get started, can we get to know from which colleges or institutions are you joining in? Can you type it in the chat? So we have Rajalakshmi Engineering College joining us today. Thank you for writing in the chat. Dreams Odisha. Thank you. ICFAI Foundation. Amrita. Government Engineering College, Harwal. CV Raman. Gitanjali College. Thank you. Let's have an interactive session today. And I would like you to be as active as possible in the chat, or probably you can unmute towards the last part of the webinar and ask questions as well. Oh, great. So we have people joining us pan-India.
Morning, Katyani Naji. So this side, Sare Moin, Innovation Officer from the Ministry of Education. Sorry for the background noise. There is one more session going on by one of my members. So we have Lakshya joining in, and along with Lakshya, I will be there. So we will wait for a couple of few minutes. We can start the session at 12:05. And meanwhile, more institute and student, they will be joining in.
Sure. We can get started. Yeah, bye-bye.
So for any queries, I will be there, and along with me, Lakshya will be there.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello
So we'll
everyone, this
get,
is Lakshmi.
yeah, we can hear
Hello
you.
ma'am.
Yeah, hi Lakshya. So we'll wait for 4 more minutes and get started at 12:05. By that time, more participants will be joining. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so we'll get started now. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today, and it is my pleasure to welcome you all to Innovate with MathWorks Smart India Hackathon 2024 webinar in association with MathWorks and AICTE. I am Katyayani Nath, working at MathWorks for Education Marketing, and I am your host for the event. MathWorks is a leading software company. It empowers engineers and scientists worldwide. Our MATLAB and Simulink product enable advanced technical computing, modeling, and simulation. We are thrilled to have you all here today, ready to embark on a journey to enhance knowledge with valuable insights to participate in the Smart India Hackathon 2024 and submit your ideas successfully. In this session, we will be learning about Smart India Hackathon, gain insights from previous year winner on their learnings, and know about MathWorks problem statement and resources available with a Q&A session towards the end. So with this, I would like to introduce our first speaker, Dr. Mona Lisa Pal. Dr. Mona Lisa Pal is a senior engineer from education team at MathWorks, and she is based out of Kolkata. She primarily interacts with faculty and students across different domains to accelerate STEM education in India. She received her BTech degree from West Bengal University of Technology and PhD in computer science from Indian Statistical Institute, Kolkata. She will be sharing about Smart India Hackathon 2024, MathWorks problem statement, and resources available for ideating your solutions in the most effective way. Now, I would like to invite her to share her thoughts. Over to you, Mona Lisa.
Is my screen up? Can you confirm?
Yes, it's up.
All right. So let's get started. For the next 20 minutes, I'll take you through SIH, about it. What is SIH, Smart India Hackathon? What are the different steps about it? What is about the 2024 problem statement? And a little bit overview about the problem statement. Without further ado, let me give you insight into this particular hackathon. It's hosted by Ministry of Education. Over the last 5 editions, MathWorks has been associated with SIH and has been hosting different problem statements. This year's problem statement is hosted under the Clean and Green Technology domain bucket. It's SIH 1731, the problem statement. If you go to the problem statement and search for 1731, you'll be able to land at MathWorks specific problem statement. It's called Solar Quest, Innovate to capture more sunlight and boost energy. For students team, what are the subsequent actions that they need to take up? That we will be highlighting in the next few minutes. And there are some resources that you can start exploring, or you can explore to gain more insights on what all additional things you can do. So before I discuss further, maybe you can mention in the chat how many of you are completely new to Smart India Hackathon this time. I don't have the access to chat. Maybe Katyani, you can mention.
I'll do.
Okay, I'm seeing several hands raised. Yeah, it gives me a fairly good idea how many of you are new. Sure, thank you so much for.
We have some people mentioning the chat as well. So
sure.
We have some new people. Yeah.
Sure, thanks. So just to give you an idea, its timeline is very crucial. It's hosted on the SIH website as well. It initially starts off in August when different problem statements are launched. We are currently in this particular phase, August-September phase. In this phase, no student can directly register to SIH. A single point of contact from different institutes registers to this particular portal. In this particular portal, once the SPOC registers, it's the SPOC's responsibility to conduct an internal hackathon at the institute level. Thereafter, select around 25 teams and nominate them further. Each team composition can go up to around 6 members, and at least one of them should be a female candidate. Once the teams are nominated and the best performing teams are put down in the portal, the team leader of each team will get a login credential. That's when the team can start logging in and start submitting their ideas. So this blue, dark blue, then blue to this orange phase is where we would be focusing on. What are the steps then? Essentially, a SPOC, students cannot directly register. A SPOC will register and a SPOC will conduct internal hackathon. How will the SPOC register? In the SIH website on the top right hand corner where there is this login option, just below that, it will of course ask your email ID, password to log in, but just below that there is an option that says register as SPOC. This particular page opens up a form kind of electronically fillable form, and their institute specific consent letter, college authority formal letter has to be uploaded, and the SPOC gets registered. Once the SPOC is registered, it's the SPOC's responsibility, and what all responsibilities are there that can be found under SIH website, guidelines for institutes. There is a particular PDF which has all the details of SPOC registration, internal hackathon, team formation, team nomination, idea submission, so on and so forth. Once this internal hackathon happens and teams are selected, it's mandatory for the SPOC to enter team details in a prescribed format. Each team member must be from same college. There should be 6 team members, including the team lead. At least one should be a female team member, right? Once the SPOC registers the team, SIH portal is open till 12th September. Then the team leader has the login credential. They can verify for the team whatever pre-entered details are there, including college name, team members name, email IDs, contact details, all of those, whether those are correct or not. Then they can choose up to 2 problem statement, and depending on whatever idea, whatever innovation they want to do, they can submit their idea in a prescribed PPT format. Where will you find this PPT template? This PPT template will also be available under guidelines idea PPT. So let me go to the particular SIH website and show you all of this in detail. So in the SIH website, if you see, there is this about SIH, and under that there is implementation team, SIH themes, process flow. So you can get to know about all of those details from here. But the crucial thing here is guidelines here. So guidelines, under guidelines, the first option is for institute. The second option is for idea PPT. The first option, SIH particular brochure that takes you through SPOC registration. It gives you the details of how and where to register. SPOC accounts gets approved. Internal hackathon is then conducted, and then students can form team. SPOC can nominate up to 25-30 teams from each institute, and depending on the team nominated, the team leader will get a login credential. They will verify their team members' details and upload a PPT. The PPT has a particular format. Let me open it for you. This is the problem idea submission PPT format. the problem statement ID, problem statement title, all of those details has to be put up here. Technical approach that you would be taking. Remember, this is the idea. This is not the solution that you have to provide. Whatever idea that you have, how will you, what research you have done, what literature you have gone through, what is the particular USP that you have found out and you want to focus on, that all of those details goes under this particular PPT, right? Now, from MathWorks, the problem statement is somewhat like this. So from MathWorks, the problem statement is somewhat like this. Imagine something like an A4 sheet. That is your solar panel. There is a lot of focus on energy generation from renewable sources, right? So once the sun moves at different point across the horizon, the solar panel will have different illumination, right? In order to get maximum benefit, maximum energy conversion, the solar panel, if all the cells are illuminated, it will give you maximum energy conversion. It will improve the efficiency of conversion. So in order to have all the cells illuminated, if the solar panel can always face the sun, it's beneficial, right? In order to do that, the solar panel has to move. There would be a motor here. Now the solar panel can move in different axes. Sometimes it's single axis, sometimes it's dual axis, and sometimes it's balanced by, let's say there is a canister where there is a fluid which can heat depending on sun's temperature and accordingly expand, and that will increase the load of the solar panel and it will tilt. That is a passive control. Similarly, depending on sun's position, it can automatically rotate. That will become an active tracker. There are different ways a sun's position can be tracked. So in order to implement this using MathWorks tools, Simulink can be quite actively used. It's one of the approaches. You can of course look at MATLAB based approach. You can of course look at Simscape based approach. Whichever is convenient for you in terms of modeling, you can look at that. But the step one is modeling the physical system where there will be a panel, there will be a motor. Step two, in order to control the motor's direction, position, so on and so forth, there will be a controller. So step two is to model that controller. Once everything is implemented, step three is to test the design. But for you, the problem statement also requires you to implement this as a prototype, which means take the controller and implement it in any hardware. There is no specification given, but you can implement it in terms of Arduino or any hardware that you find more suitable for your particular version of the problem statement or variation of the problem statement. So I'll open a particular video for you. This video, how will you get to this video? Let me also show you that particular option. How will you get to this video? If you just go to Google and search for MathWorks videos and webinars, the first link that comes up is a collection of videos and webinars. There are videos and webinars on this link on various topics, but if I just search for getting started with Simulink, that should be the video which would help you. So essentially, getting started with Simulink for controls is an 11 minutes video that takes you through a very brief version or brief implementation of this particular problem.
Simulink is a graphical environment for
Are you
modeling
able
dynamic
to hear
systems.
the audio?
That is, systems that change over time. Simulink
Yes,
takes care of the
Monica.
simulation, so you
We can hear you.
You can use it to model simple things like a home thermostat, or complex systems like a fully autonomous vehicle or a surgical robot. This video will show you the basics of Simulink and give you an idea of what working in Simulink looks like. Stay tuned to the end to find out where to go to learn more about how to use Simulink. Let's get started. At the MathWorks headquarters in Natick, Massachusetts, we use solar panels to generate electricity. These panels face south and are fixed in place. That means they produce more electricity when the sun is shining directly on them in the middle of the day, and less power when the sun is to the east or west, early and late in the day. What if you had solar panels that rotated to track the sun so that you could produce as much electricity as possible? In this video, we'll use Simulink to design a tracking system to keep a solar panel aligned with the sun. If you want to follow along as we build the model, you can download it using the link below. The physical system consists of a panel and a motor. We'll model those first, and then we'll add a controller to track the sun's position. Once we're happy with the design, we'll test it to see how well it does tracking actual sun data. The physical system has two main components. With some basic physics, we can write out the equations of motion for each. Let's model the panel first. You start Simulink by clicking the Simulink button in the MATLAB tool strip. This opens the Start page, where you can create new models, find examples, and even find basic training. We're starting our model from scratch, so we'll choose Blank Model. Simulink models are built up from blocks and signals. Open the library browser to see all the blocks available. To model the equation for the panel, we'll start with the integrator block. Let's click and drag an integrator from the library into our model. So why an integrator block? Well, the integrator block takes an input and integrates it over time. If we integrate acceleration, we get velocity. And if we integrate velocity, we get position. This is the basis for modeling differential equations in Simulink. Our equation has acceleration and velocity terms, so we need at least one integrator. Let's add another one to also get the position. We connect blocks together with signals by clicking and dragging between blocks. Don't worry about these red lines. We'll connect them up in a second. It's a good idea to label signals to keep things organized. So we'll double-click the signals and type a name. Let's name this one theta ... for acceleration, then theta ... for velocity, and theta for the position of the panel. Next, let's model the right-hand side of this equation. First, the torque term. Let's use a constant block. We'll replace this with the motor later. You can double-click a block to change its parameters. Let's change the value to 10. We need to perform a subtraction, so let's also grab a subtract block. The damping term depends on the panel's velocity, the theta ... signal. We can branch this signal by right-clicking and dragging to connect it to the subtract block. And don't forget, we still need to multiply that by kd. Let's use a gain block for that. Rather than hard-coding the gain value, we can also use a variable or even MATLAB code. So let's just say the gain is kd. That red box is telling us that kd hasn't been defined yet, so click the three dots and select Create. We'll give it a value of 5 and store it in MATLAB's base workspace. Let's check MATLAB, and yep, the variable kd has been created. To finish up the equation, we need to divide by the inertia, j. We'll do that with another gain block. But now we know the name of the block, so we can just double-click in the model and start typing the block name. Then use the drop-down to find the right block and hit Enter. We'll set the gain to 1 over j, and again, let's define the variable j in the base workspace with a value of 8.6. Let's add an annotation to show the equation being modeled, so when we come back to it later, we'll easily know what the equation is. Well, that should be all we need to model the panel, but to check if everything is working correctly, we'll want to visualize some signals. Simulink has a bunch of visualization tools. For a quick check of a signal, the easy option is to use a scope block and connect it to the signal we want to view. Let's add a second scope to see the velocity signal. Okay, now we're ready to simulate the model. We can set the simulation stop time in the Simulation tab, but we'll leave it as 10 for now. To run the simulation, just click the Run button. The simulation finished, but what you didn't see was that Simulink numerically solved the differential equation through time. Double-click on a scope to check out what happened. In the position scope, we see the panel's angular position is increasing. In the velocity scope, the velocity starts from 0 and levels off. So with a constant torque, the panel starts turning and then settles to rotating at a fixed rate. Well, that makes sense. Let's do a quick sanity check and see what happens if we switch the sign of the torque. We can edit the constant value directly on the block, rerun, and that looks good. We see the panel now spins in the opposite direction. Now that we have the panel model working, let's group those blocks together to keep things organized. Just select the blocks you want to include. We'll leave the constant block and the scopes out for now. And then click Create Subsystem in the Modeling tab. Now all those blocks are contained within this subsystem. Let's name it Panel. You can double-click to see the subsystem contents. These oval-shaped blocks are in ports and out ports. That's the data going in and out of the subsystem. Let's adjust the port names. Go back up to the top level, and there are the port names we just entered. Okay, we still need a motor. Remember that motor equation? Well, we can follow the exact same process to model it. And we've got our motor. We'll supply a voltage to the motor to generate a torque and move the panel. Let's check what happens. We can see that the panel spins when a voltage is applied to the motor, so everything looks good so far. Okay, we've modeled the panel and the motor. Now we need a controller to set the correct voltage so that the panel tracks the sun. From our model, we know where the panel is pointing, and let's say the sun is over here. We want the panel pointing at the sun, so the difference is the error. We'll add a controller that applies a voltage to the motor to make that error as small as possible. And if the sun moves, the controller will react accordingly to keep the panel pointing at the sun. Okay, back to our Simulink model. We have the position of the panel here. To get the error, we need the position of the sun. While we're designing the controller, we'll use a unit step input. That's pretty common in control design. We'll test it with some actual sun position data later. Now to calculate the error. We'll use a sum block. It's already got this nice circular shape common in control schematics. We just need to change the second port to be a minus instead of a plus. Next, we need a controller. There are a lot of options, but a common approach is some form of PID control, which stands for proportional integral derivative, because the control output is some function of the error, the integrated error, and the derivative of the error. But we don't need to build all that ourselves. We'll just add a PID controller block. We connect the input to the error signal, and the output will drive the motor. You can see there are a lot of ways to customize the controller. We'll switch to a PI controller. The D term helps respond to quick changes, which we don't need because the sun moves steadily across the sky. There are two gains to adjust, one for the proportional term and one for the integral term. These affect the controller's response. We'll set the proportional gain to 240 and the integral gain to 180. To see how well the controller performs, let's use the same scope to show both the sun position and the panel position. Notice that a new port is automatically added. Let's run the model and add a legend to the scope so we can tell the signals apart. Let's also make the position line dashed. We can see that the controller overshoots a little, then settles to the reference value of 1. That's good enough for our application. Okay, we designed our controller, but can it actually track the movement of the sun? Well, let's see how it performs when we provide it with some real data. Let's load some sun position data into the MATLAB base workspace. This file has two variables, a vector for time spanning 15 hours and a vector of the sun's position at each point in time. Let's plot it. You can see that the sun rises in the northeast at about 60 degrees from due north and sets in the northwest at about 300 degrees. We can bring the sun position data into the model by replacing the step block with an in port. We need to select which data to use. Click Model Settings in the Modeling tab, then navigate to the Data Import-Export pane. There are a lot of settings in here. If you're ever unsure about anything, just right-click and select What's this? This input option is what we need. When specifying input data, the first column should always be time. After that, you can add a column vector for each import in your model. Since we now have 15 hours of data, we'll change the simulation stop time. Let's run the model, and we can see it's tracking the sun's position quite well. So we modeled our solar panel system, developed a controller, and tested the system to ensure it will track the motion of the sun, and it looks like our design works. But that's just the beginning. If we want to make these panels a reality, we can incorporate proper design specs into our model. We can bring in other tools like Simscape to model the mechanical and electrical systems without needing to derive any equations. And with Stateflow, we can add logic to make the panels smart, so they spin back to the east at the end of the day, and they know what to do if conditions change. Then, when we're ready, we can automatically generate code from the model and deploy it directly to hardware. At each step of the way, we can continuously test the design to ensure it's error-free and meeting specifications. With the model at the center of our design process, we can tackle all kinds of design questions. And so can you. Now that you have a feel for what working in Simulink is like, it's time to learn it. The best way to learn Simulink is to work with it. So start up Simulink On-Ramp, which will teach you the basics of Simulink interactively. It's free and takes just a couple of hours. Welcome to Simulink.
Okay, with that video, you have got an understanding of what the problem statement is and what are the different variations that you can achieve. At the end, they mentioned about how to get a feel of working with Simulink, and they mentioned about Simulink on-ramp. So in MATLAB Academy, you can see there are around 23 introductory courses. Select the introductory courses. Make sure you have a MathWorks account to do these courses, but there are courses on if you are new to Simulink, Simulink on-ramp. If you are new to control systems entirely, there is control system on-ramp with Simulink. There are also courses on state flow, circuit simulation, power electronics, so on and so forth. These are all hands-on courses. It will give you a certificate once you complete the courses. So this might be your starting point for working on these courses. But like I mentioned, your MathWorks videos and webinars from where you can find this particular video on getting started with Simulink for controls, you can use the same particular platform to search for how to, let's say, implement your control system on Arduino. And you will have Simulink input output with Arduino, or programming an Arduino robot in Simulink, or using MATLAB and Arduino for motor control. These might be some of the interesting videos for you to look at while you are thinking of implementing your entire project and deploy it into hardware. I'm sure there are other tips and tricks up the sleeves of winners. So I'll hand over the step back to Katyani, and maybe she can also invite winners from previous year.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much, Mona Lisa, for your insights. And I'm sure our participants have learned about Smart India Hackathon, about MathWorks problem statement, and the handy resources available. I would also like to voice out that teams who are submitting ideas for MathWorks problem statement will be given complimentary license of MATLAB and Simulink products. So you can mail me knath@mathworks.com with your name, institute or university name, and department to receive the license access. And I will also be putting the mail ID to the chat so that the interested participants can share their interest with me. And as I mentioned in the chat, please do share your questions. We will be answering them towards the last 15 minutes of the webinar. So with this, I would like to invite Suraj K from Banari Aman Institute of Technology, winner of Smart India Hackathon 2023, to share his SIH winning journey with us, his learnings and some super cool hacks. Suraj and his team had worked on the previous edition of MathWorks problem statement. Let us hear from him about his experience and how he carved his way towards excellence. Now, I would like to hand over to Suraj.
Suraj, can you please unmute yourself? We are not able to hear you. Or rejoin again if you are facing issues unmuting yourself. I think he will be rejoining in. Just wait for a couple of few minutes.
Yeah, sure.
Ma'am, can you please type your email ID in the chat box as some of the participants are requesting your email?
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Lakshya, can you check whether Suraj has joined in and give him the host rights so that he can unmute? So I think he's joined in, but he says that he can't unmute.
I made him the presenter as well. I guess.
Yes, now I'm able to unmute. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, you are on.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Suraj, and I was fortunate enough to lead my team to victory in the Smart India Hackathon 2023. Today, I'm excited to share my experience, guide you through the SIH process, and hopefully inspire your journey for SIH 2024. And to begin with, I'll share my, the idea for the previous year 50.
Are you sharing your screen, Suraj?
Yeah. Is it visible now?
Yeah, your presentation screen is not visible as of now, but your screen is up.
Like, can you see the PPT now?
Let's do one thing. Stop sharing and again share your entire screen. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's visible.
Now
We can
see.
see
Now we can
it.
see.
Don't do it. It was visible, Suraj. Okay.
Yeah, I'll do it again. Just a minute.
Yeah.
Is it visible now? The PPT?
Yes, your entire screen is now visible.
Yeah, sure. Like I said, this was my idea submission, and like this was the previous year's format. And for the problem statement, you can say it's get fit faster with a high-tech tracker, analyze activity and GPS data for improved results. Just by problem statement, you can make out like this is not like any other problem statement. It looks like an application from Play Store. It's telling the users to install their software and use it. So it's more like a business idea. You should see the problem statement like as a business person sees it. So and like it's very simple. Like for the previous year format, we were supposed to make only like 4 slides. Like everything should come under the 4 slides, and for each heading there won't be more than 3 points. So idea and prototype. And for the image, you can I will just make image out. Still, it's okay. You can pick it up from Google or any other website, but make sure that it's completely it completely suits your the idea submission. Like everything, what is mentioned in the picture, it should be relatable to your idea. And this was the first slide. slide, you can see the uses, dependencies, and the showstopper. And even here, I so like the image too small, but even after images, make sure it's very like so in person or like the reviewer zooms it, and he should be able to read each and everything that is mentioned in the picture. So make sure that you do that while adding any images, and make sure everything is justified, the font, everything, do as per the as it is mentioned in the like the format. So this is the slide I gave for the idea submission. And not only this, I when I got selected, I was able to do like 5 idea submissions, and out of 5 idea submission, 3 of it got selected, and this is the one I chose to register for the final day event. So yeah, so I'll check and see if it's possible, and I'll share this PPT to each and one of you all. I'll see if it's possible. I can take this as reference, and also you can prepare your other idea submissions for other problem statements also. And yeah, and let's get into the main PPT. Yeah. Yeah. Like this is my team. We won itself in the first slide. Yeah, and for today's agenda, we'll be looking on to how to make an ideating the solution, and source for the solution, the do's, don'ts, tips, and then the conclusion. For the first, we'll see the ideating solution. These 5 points are the important while you're creating an idea for the solution, like empathize, define, ideate it, prototype, and test. I'll explain one by one in the other next few slides. And for the first point, read the problem thoroughly. In the SIH website, they'll be given the problem statement. It will be like a huge paragraph. Read it thoroughly with pronouns, like read it out loudly, like the complete problem statement, each and every word, the nukes and corners. And after the first time reading, you'll be getting a basic idea. And from that, also include the links. There'll be like 4 to 5 links that will be included in the problem statement. Go through each and every one of those links. Never skip any of those links, okay? Those are the important ones. And after reading for the first time, you'll be getting a basic idea. And keep reading the problem statement again and again. What happens is that each time when you read it, you'll be refining the basic idea, and you can keep improving your idea. Like you can get a clear vision of what you're going to do. And for the third type is the collect the like yeah collect from the existing solution. Like most of the like not most, like some of the problem statements that we all what yours some so apart from the existing solution, so focus on that. So before doing that, you should see already if there's any solution that is present for this problem state.
Excuse me, Suraj. Yeah. So sorry to interrupt. Your voice is cracking a bit.
Like you come up with an base area and you change existing information.
Suraj. Yeah. No, your voice is cracking. During the session. So if you can just switch off your camera, I think it will improve the bandwidth,
sure.
and you will be.
Yeah, I did. Like, is it fine now? And is the screen visible?
Yes, much better.
Yeah, sure. And yeah, like I said, After finding the basic solution and comparing it with the existing solution, you can see what is lacking in the existing solution, or else you can simply search on the internet about the existing solution, check what all could be added, that would be reviews on the solution. Even the person who made the existing solution could have come up with like he'd be saying it would be better if this were added. So you should focus on all those and add those, like for the novelty. You should keep on adding what all required for the solution, and like that is, yeah, the main thing that would be noticed is the novelty. If there's already an existing solution, the judges would be noticing the novelty, so focus on that. And the next one is the working solution. After coming up with the basic idea, uh, like you should see what all is present in hand, like what could be done with your basic idea, and you should see whether it's actually working. You should like there be certain people, their idea would be quickly good. Even we might think that they might be the business for this SIH, but still no, because even their idea is better and good, and it has a very good novelty. Their solution might not be working. They'd be still lagging on some places. There'd be a lot of errors there. But at the end of the day, the judges, what they expect is an actual working solution that is that sticks to the problem statement. So make sure that your solution is working. Even if it is a tiny bit, like what you've proposed, like in that, at least a tiny bit of the solution should be working. That focus on that. Yeah, the tiny bit of it should be working. And for the next point is the salesperson. The idea what you're framing on, it should be like actually you're going to like make a solution and you're going to sell it to the customers. Like I think as if like a businessman, you should how to advertise this product. All those should be in mind. Okay, like while making this solution. And for the next slide, yeah, for the source for the solution, you can, it is very open for SH when it's come to SH from anywhere. Let it be an AI assistant like ChatGPT and research papers, YouTube and Google. The first thing I would uh, suggest is that go through the research papers. There might be, even if there's no, like if there's no any already solution, there'll be many people who have done research papers on the solution. So surf through the internet and look out for those research papers and take content from them. You can get many ideas from it. And yeah, and one important thing I would say is that you can use ChatGPT. You can get the help from it. You should make ChatGPT to work for you, like to ease your work, and not like take the entire content, the entire project, or the entire solution from the ChatGPT or any other AI source. It should be all your work. Okay, that should be done. And after research papers, YouTube and Google, you can watch any videos, take reference from it. But as of MathWorks and MATLAB, there'd be only like few videos on YouTube and Google and on them. But you've got a treasure vault over here, which is the MATLAB documentation. Let it be any solution. You can, like, this is the actual MathWorks documentation page. This is a screenshot of that page. Over here, you can see the documentation over here. From here, you can get many content, anything and everything you search on MATLAB, that would be present over here. You can take that. Would be of what over here. So yeah, you can refer to this documentation. Many things are available. Going to this page, you're supposed to click on examples. And after examples, you can see like there are many examples or applications or projects that have been done. And after, like, for example, if you don't know digital quiet, you can see how this model is up. And there will be a huge page of information on how to do it. And also there will be a link for the actual example. If you click on that, the software,
Suraj,
and you can try it on like I said in the beginning. Collect from existing solution, create any basic idea. Yes, yes ma'am. Hello.
no, I was just mentioning that your voice is cracking a bit. Yeah, now it's fine. Now you can go ahead. Yeah, you're audible. Please continue.
Now it's fine. Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. That you need to collect from the existing solution. Yes, ma'am. Collect from the existing solution. You can use documentation, MATLAB documentation. You can team member. On internet based on your problem statement, and here check the get that and work on simply new to this MATLAB and MathWorks and SIH. What I did was taking examples from the documentation. I would simply pick one that is suited to the problem statement. I would simply run it on if it's running properly. Before doing all those, Mohan mentioned, all the courses mentioned, simulating courses, on you're supposed to be aware, you should have come those in order for you to run all these applications and do chicken. So that's one important of it. It's MATLAB documentation. It was nothing but a fitness tracking app that should get data entirely from your mobile phone. Like as of now, the current solution you can things like add all those from your smartwatch, and you can see them on your Google Fit or Apple Fitness app, etc. But even all those scenarios, I'm not supposed to use all those gadgets. I must use only the sensors that are mobile application. There's already on like App Store, which is the MATLAB application for mobile. From there, you can get it's shown in the picture. And update in the application. Yeah.
Suraj, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So your voice is
Yes, sir. You're audible.
breaking. Yes, your voice is breaking intermittently. You need to just check your internet connection once. People are saying that nothing is.
Yeah,
They are
sure.
not. And yeah, just check the comment section. And you need to just slow down a bit. Many of these people, they are not able to understand you, like you are going too fast.
And so, is it fine now? Am I audible then? Or is my voice still cracking?
So we can't say right now during or in between the session, we are facing this issue. Like
Yeah, in between. Okay. Yes, sir. I'll make
Yeah.
sure it's fine. I'll just change my network.
yeah, change the network, and if there is any problem with your mic or headphones which you are
Yes,
using,
sir.
just try to change it.
Yeah,
And
sure, sir.
use a laptop speaker or system speaker something.
Yeah, yes, sir.
You can. You are unmuted, Suraj. Can you check? Can you speak something?
Suraj, you are not audible.
Yeah, Suraj is not audible, and I think we are also running out of time. We had till 1, so can we ask Suraj to? I mean, to have like people can send in their queries to Suraj, or they can reach out to him on LinkedIn, and he can take them up.
Right, we can do that. And
We can.
in case, and if it is required, then Suraj, do one thing: you just record your session and share the link with us, and we will share it with the relevant audience.
Yeah, we can do that. Okay, sure. So we'll, in that case, we can continue. And thank you, Suraj, for your detailed insights. And as Sir mentioned, if you can share a recording of your presentation, then it will be helpful, and we can share it across with the participants. And it will be helpful for their SIH journey as well. So yeah, with this, we are in the final phase of the session, and this is a Q&A round. And I will pick questions from the chat window, and I would also request the speakers to answer them. And our speakers will also put in their LinkedIn profile in the chat, so that you can, if not in this session, if time permits, you can reach out to them later and get your queries cleared.
Before you put the questions, I request all the participants not to ask any of the general queries. So this session is related to the problem statement or the theme given by the MathWorks. So please limit your questions for the problem statements and queries related to the MathWorks problem statement. Do not put any of the queries which are administrative or general queries. So that's it from my side.
Okay, sure.
Katyani, let me start answering by, there was a question already before. It was on
Yes.
for prototyping whether hardware in loop testing is needed or not. So for basic prototyping, what we mean is deployment. You simulate on Simulink and then deploy your controller to Arduino. For that, hardware in loop testing is not needed. So I pasted a link in the chat. I'll put it for all of the audience also. It's called Arduino Light Meter project. It might be explored for basic workflow starting from prototyping to exploring what all the projects variations you can do and then deployment. This is nothing to do with hardware in loop. But if you're still interested in exploring hardware in loop, of course, our video collection that I had shared earlier, that has all the sort of guidelines for hardware in loop testing also. Anything else, any queries related to the problem statement?
As of now, I don't see related to the problem statement, but I see this question that can the team be made with less than 6 members? AICT wants to take this up, or Suraj, if you're...
We have yes. So it is mandatory to have 6-member team, and one female member is mandatory, and this is the guideline which is set common for all the institutes and the student teams for the Smart India Hackathon 24.
Okay, sure. And we have one more question. Can 2 students form a team?
I think it's sort of answered already. It's mandatory as a 6-member team.
Yeah. Okay. In this case, Mona Lisa, one question for you. What Arduino board is suggested to be interfaced with MATLAB? Arduino Uno, Arduino Duo, or etc.?
Yeah, you can start off. Those are very basic hardware. I would say it depends on what all sensors you are using, what all memory requirements are there. MATLAB supports Arduino Uno, Duo, both. So you can work with those as well. Now it depends on what type of motor you are working with, what type of motor algorithms you are working with, because you would also be interested in looking up the motor specification and accordingly tuning your control system. So for a more robust controller, more advanced Arduino can be looked at.
Okay. Another one is that the 6 members of a team have to be from the same branch.
Shall I answer to that question?
Yeah, please.
Bipin, it's not any necessary for all the 6 members to be from the same batch. It's okay if it is so, but my suggestion would be let each and every person be from other departments. Minimum there can be 2 members from the same department, and make sure that other team members are from other branches also, so that you can get various ideas from different each other's point of view or perception. Okay, that would be fine if all other members are from different branches. But it's also fine to be from the same branch, all 6 members. It's up to you.
Okay, thank you, Suraj. Any more questions? Any last questions anybody has? Okay.
I also shared the link in the chat for the supported hardware. It might come up as a question that I have purchased Arduino Uno, but it's not getting supported. So just check out which all particular versions are supported and are compatible with certain releases of MATLAB. So that compatibility needs to be verified for you to hardware deployment.
Okay, sure. Thanks, Mona Lisa. And I think there's a question on the diversity among the groups. So that has already been answered by AICT. One question for you is that can we do V2V connection using MATLAB? If it is possible, what is the process?
Is it, are you asking in terms of vehicle to vehicle, in terms of V2V? The answer to this question is yes, but it's not related to this particular problem statement. If you want to elaborate further, just drop me an email or connect with me on LinkedIn. I can discuss further.
Yeah. There's a question on problem statement, and I think just 1 sec. So I think we will be sharing the slides with the participants, and if in case you have some specific query, you can reach out to Mona Lisa directly. Yeah,
just keep in mind that the problem statement is open-ended. It's not that you have to achieve a certain particular goal or certain particular performance improvement. It's a open-ended problem statement where we are expecting you to design a prototype of a solar tracker. Now it's up to you what control system you want to use. It's up to you what hardware you want to use. It's up to you how you want to validate the performance against theory, against a prototype.
okay, sure. Thank you. And I think the last one we can take for this session. Can you share any winning prototype and PPT for reference purposes? I'm not sure if we are doing so, but you can take this up.
Yeah, I think there is no winning prototype as such. I don't think there is any winning prototype because the problem statement also varies from year to year from MathWorks side, as well as even SIH hosts multiple problem statements. So there is no just one winning prototype. And also, if Suraj slides were visible, you might have noticed that it also depends on the final round, how you are readily available to implement the small tweaks that mentors suggest, or how good you are in teamwork. All of those parameters also matter in terms of innovation. So in terms of slide sharing, maybe Katyani can take that up.
Yeah. The slides will be shared after the meeting.
Sure.
Yeah. Sure. So with this, I would request Mona Lisa if you could share your LinkedIn profile in the chat.
Sure.
And Suraj has sent the profile some time back. So with this, I would like to thank all of you for joining us on behalf of MathWorks and AICT. And I would want to express my deepest gratitude to Mona Lisa and Suraj for their detailed insights. Please note to mail knath@mathworks.com with your name, institute, or university name to receive the complimentary license of MATLAB and Simulink products. And thank you so much to all the wonderful attendees, and I wish you the very best for Smart India Hackathon. Good luck and best wishes to everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, the team from MathWorks, Dr. Mona Lisa, Katyani ji. Thank you so much for taking a brief session on the problem statement and the theme. And I, Sare Moin, and on behalf of Lakshya, we would be ending this session. And for the future, in case if there is any query by the any student or the faculty, please feel free to email at the aforementioned, which is given in the chat box, or you can directly type in at our official hackathon at aict-india.org for any queries related to the Smart India Hackathon. Thank you so much all for joining in. Signing off.
Yeah.
Signing
Thank
off.
you.
Signing off.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.